Hello, friends! Today I will give you proof that Nyanwolf is not guilty, and I have evidence that he is not guilty, or at least not fully reliable. But before I do, can you like and subscribe before the bacon says goodbye? Goodbye! Alright, let's get into the video. Alright, I am going to tell you the first proof of evidence. Titled It's Not Real, It's Just an Image. I know it's going to be people that say,
It doesn't matter, it's still porn.
No, it's not. Here's the problem though with that. Porn is content that contains sexual content for viewer pleasure. Based on the images I have seen, that is not porn. At most, you could say it's mild sexual content. But it is not considered pornography because it is against Twitter's community guidelines. And most of it is fart jokes mainly, and you're criticizing him when there's a bunch of TV shows that do it. That just doesn't make sense. It's also not a valid reason to attack somebody because they make mild content. It's also worth to note that it's not showing any personal body parts. It may show some certain parts, but not explicitly. The main person body parts, it doesn't show that. Evidence number 2. It wasn't just him that made it. He did not make all of those images. Many of them were from different drawers and animators. At most, there was a few that came from him, but not that much. And yes, he may have liked the content, but that doesn't mean that he wanted to promote it. Likening a video and reposting and sharing it then. You could say that he was promoting that kind of content. But did he do that? No. He just liked it and that's it. So why would you criticize him for liking it but not promoting it? That's just not a valid reason to criticize him. Also, him slowly liking the video doesn't mean he's promoting that kind of content. It might be just self-pleasure. Evidence number 3. Titled Personal Mental Health or Health. On social media, there's billions of people use the app every day, but they're all strangers. You don't know none of them in person, or at least someone you haven't seen. They're all strangers and you don't know them at all. Even if you're socially friends, you don't know their personal life. So he could be liking this kind of content because, for him, this is a coping measure to help him. This is likely due to him being lonely, depressed, and social anxiety. That's more of a theory, but it could be true. Because when you're lonely, you gotta find something to cope. Otherwise, you would just get worse and worse and worse. So him liking this kind of content might be a coping measure. Him doing this and liking this kind of content is called fictosexuality, which means sexually liking a fictional character in the simplest way I can say. So that could be a way to cope. And honestly, that is the most likely scenario. Anyways, moving on. Evidence number 3. Publicity stunt. This is more of a theory, but what if this is what he wanted? Because he knew he was already hated from the "Don't touch my pizza" nostalgia bait. But it's definitely possible. Why this was just his way of trying to leave this behind. If I was in his position, I would likely do the same. Because when you face backlash, it's normally a lot, but over time, it slowly goes away. So what if he did this to get more notice in the internet? But this was his way on trying to become popular, because that could help him in terms of profit. While this is uncertain, it could be true, because people would do anything for popularity, including the most outrageous stuff. And that is what could have happened in this case. Evidence number 4. Titled Overreaction. The reaction from this quote-unquote exposure was so unnecessary. Okay, someone likes furry porn. Big deal, people like Pornhub. There are many people like that. The only reason you're criticizing is because he's a big creator, and you just want to attack him because you want him to fall. There are people who are far worse than him. Furthermore, the fact that you're trying to leak his information is so unnecessary. Just because you don't like what he likes. That is, again, not a valid argument. He's a human, he has opinion, and he likes different things. Nobody's gonna agree with the same thing or like the same thing. But does that necessarily mean you have to attack him for something he likes? And the most simple answer is no. You're acting like they found a dead person in a celebrity's car. But no, this is not the case. It's just simple he likes furry corn. Okay, doesn't really matter. There's many people who like that. But do they get backlash? No, because they're not a big creator. There is a plethora of reasons why this is just wrong, and this was an overreaction. Maybe if you could just, be quiet and not respond. If you can use your brain, you would know that you can keep your criticism to yourself and not attack someone just because they don't have the same opinion as you. I do understand that this is kind of crazy for a big creator. But then again, there are people that do the same thing as him. So it's not clocking right. And it's honestly kind of sad you can't really like anything nowadays. Because instead of someone keeping their criticism to the self, they always want to speak out. And that's just so unnecessary. And finally, my final reason. Anyways, these were all my reasons. If you agreed to me comment, I agreed with you. And we finally stop harassing other people, hopefully. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Apple 10 out.